right, so that's pretty close, 8330 to our target score over here from our friend. 8342. So here on the test bench. Maybe I should turn the light on, huh? That might look better. Get a little lighting. Yeah. There we go. Oh, my big stupid hand out of the way. Not much of a vlogger, as you can tell. But here's our little test bench. Some high-end desktop HWBOT stuff right now with the 10980XE in there. And then this graphics card has plans to be in my wife's new computer, which will be on a video that's coming up pretty soon on currently Kent's YouTube channel, which you're watching right now probably. Anyway, so I thought I would try this one more time. I guess I'll show you a little bit of the setup first. So I usually start a notepad over here, and then in the notepad I'll put like the verification links for after you get done with a 3D Mark run. You go to the compare results online right here, and then it pops you up onto 3D Mark's website. And so I'll just copy the link from here, little Control C action, and then Control V into the notepad for the verification link. And then I'll give myself a little bit of like okay, so this is Firestrike Ultimate. I obviously didn't change my score right there, so this is a good time to do it now. But 8330 is the best score that I've got so far. Actually, I should probably just double check to make sure that that copied the correct link right there. Save that first, and then let's make sure we're on the right. Oh, so yeah, it didn't copy. Okay, so we'll copy this. Control copy. It should change it for me now, I hope. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if I get a better score, that's what I'll do. I'll just copy it in there, and then let's save. Make sure we're saved. Exit out of Notepad, exit out of here, and I was going to try to go for a little higher score. So go back to the benchmark screen and bring up Firestrike Ultra. Then when I go and do these, I always make sure to turn off where it says include demo. I always turn that off. You don't really need the demo for any of the submission stuff on HWBOT, and the demo is basically just going to make it take longer for one, and then two, it'll heat up your card before you get started. So here's the settings that I've had so far. And Afterburner, the last run, I got quite a few more points by going up on the memory clock. So it was at 1050. Let's try 1075. See if that works out. But the cores got an extra 135 megahertz, and then have taken the power limit all the way up. Same thing with the core voltage. I know those don't really do anything with Ampere, but I do them anyway. So anyway, so there's Afterburner. So we'll go ahead and run benchmark, and let's see if it crashes right off the bat. And if it doesn't, I'll pause the video and then come back with the results. So it does take a little bit of time to get going. Well, it's collecting system info, which is weird for me because 3D Mark, as you open it, collects system info. So I haven't changed graphics cards or anything in the amount of time since I booted into Windows and have been using 3D Mark, so I don't understand why it needs to collect more system info every time. But anyway, all right, so it hasn't crashed straight away. I'll be back with the results here in a second. All right, the combined test fight sequence, Firestrike. Looking like we're gonna get through it. So the score to beat is 8342. 8330 was my previous score, so let's see what we did. Let's see what our random number generator brings us this time. 8336. Okay, so I got 6 more points than the previous score. So I guess this is as good a time as any to walk through the next step in the process for when you're going to submit to HWBOT and you want to have your submission stick. So gonna do a couple things here. We got to open up Tech Power Up, GPU Z. I'll always open 2 instances of this. It's just a habit that a friend of mine, Keep Hayton, before he retired, he always told me to get 2 of these tabs open. One with the graphics card tab, and then the other one to have the sensors tab open. And then for CPU Z, this one, it only requires you to have 2 of these tabs up and open to submit, but again, I'm going to end up with a little bit of extra verification. So I'll pull them all over to the side, and then I'll make sure that I've got, like, so this first one right here, you've got your CPU tab selected, and then on the second one, I'll make sure that it is selected for main board, and then on the bottom one here, I'll change it over to memory. So I have those 3 over on the left, and these 2 over here on the right for GPU-Z. And then you gotta make sure that the, let's see where my cursor is, there we go, okay. So then we wanna see the score here, and then I wanna see the other scores listed, so like the graphics score, physics score, combined score, Firestrike Ultra. Pull this window down as far as I can without clipping anything. Lower just a little bit more. I want to be able to see the background around everything, just to make it easier. And then they want the Windows taskbar to be in the screenshot as well. Everything for HWBOT and the submissions and the rules that you need to follow, it's all on each benchmark. So like as you go to HWBOT and you're looking at the benchmarks that you want to run, all the rules are there. So quick little screenshot, little Windows print screen, get the screenshot there, and then we'll click this button here for compare results online, and then my scores come up at 6 points higher than the last one, so I'm gonna save it. Let's put this over in the notepad because my new highest score and link have changed. So I've got the link, I'll just Control V into there, verify that the last 2 digits, the 88 there and the 88 here, are matching. They are, cool. And then I can change the score from 8330 to 8336. And then I'll save that. Exit out of everything. We're done. So let's see. Maybe I can do this one-handed here. Let's try it. Let's go and submit that to HWBOT. So can get us to HWBOT. Sign into your account. So this is my account here. I am Brillo _85. So Brillo is my nickname my dad gave me when I was a little kid, because that's the way that my hair grew out, like Brillo pad. So anyway, we'll go to top right hand side over here, submit score. Then we'll go down to the video card benchmarks section, which is right here, and under the 3D Mark tab, we're looking for Firestrike Ultra was the one that I was just running, so we're going to submit that one. So the benchmark score, you need to know that, which should be easy because Notepad here will tell me what I got on the score, and it also has my link that I'll need here in a second as well. So 8336 was the score. We'll just input that, and then you can, in here, you have a few different options of how to enter your hardware. You can enter your hardware manually, which will pull up all of the things that you'll see. The way that I'm going to do it is going to be different, but it'll pull up the same thing, and you're able to enter your hardware manually. So if it's like your first time benchmarking a piece of equipment, this is what you'll choose. But pre-populate fields by previous submission. I've done a few submissions, as you can see here, with this 3060 Ti that I'm working on right now. So it pops in the processor, which is the 1090XC. It's running at 4900 megahertz on all cores, and obviously it's a custom water cooling, so you select your cooling there. And then the video card is a 3060 Ti. Once you start typing in your equipment in here, it'll auto-suggest some stuff for you, so you can make sure you're not, you can rest assured you're not screwing anything up. And then you select your cooling over here. There's a bunch of different options because people get crazy and they go liquid nitrogen or dry ice or stuff like that, but this just has a stock cooler on it, so I'm gonna leave it there. This is optional sections here. You can see there's no star next to the piece of equipment, but anyway, I just put in my motherboard, and so verification screenshot is needed, so I'll go ahead and choose a file. Now this is kind of where it's important inside of your file manager to be able to have previews selected, because you want to make sure that you get, like, I have a couple different scores in here for Firestrike Ultra, right? So I got my 8330, that's not my best score, but I've got the 8336 right here. Of course, you could go in and rename all this stuff if you wanted to, make it a little easier on yourself. I do that most of the time, but this is just kind of like, I have a few minutes this morning to do it, so I'm doing it. With benchmarking, so I'm going to go over here and copy my link because it needs it. So let's copy that, and then come in here and paste there. And then depending on which league you're in, the league that I'm in is, I believe it's Enthusiast. Anyway, so as you are on HWBOT longer and submit more things, you go up in leagues, and eventually end up having to include a picture of your rig, so that way they can make sure that you're not doing anything funky, like, oh, I don't know, setting it up outside in a snowstorm so you get better temps. But then there's some options down here for you to look at, whether you know, you've got stuff that's a sponsorship or a paid advertisement, or whether you don't want submissions and you're just putting it on there to have it there. But I I want the points. So I'm gonna agree to the rules. Hopefully I've done everything right. And then you'll submit benchmark result. And it takes a second. It's churning away, seeing where we're at. And okay, so there we go. It's a valid submission. And you can see over here where you get some of your points. It'll kind of run your points down for you as far as what you got. Hardware points right there is usually what I'm concerned with, just to see how I stack up against other people using the same hardware. All right, so I didn't know this was a thing, but my iPhone ran out of storage on that last video, and it ended kind of awkwardly, so we're splicing a couple together here. This is going to be basically your wall on HWBOT when you're looking at where you stand and everything. Anyway, so you got your team, your league that you're in, all this stuff up here at the top, profile picture if you've added one, what country you're from, so on and so forth. Anyway, then you scroll down and here's your wall. It shows your recent activity and some submissions you made. So here's the last little bit that I've made. Basically, I've done all the 3D Mark stuff, and so I'm going to do some other ones. I'm getting Superposition right now downloaded, but even with pretty good internet speed, we're still like a few minutes out. Anyway, so I'll circle back to those. But yeah, I just wanted to show, I guess, the last little bit of it here. There's also another way to go through, so you can go to your submissions and then select what you're looking for. In this case, we're looking for video card, and then I want to look at, I can't remember, I think we were doing Firestrike Ultra. Anyway, it shows all your other benchmarks that you've done. So here's the 3060 Ti one that we just did. Yeah, you can see you got a little medal there for that, I guess. Yeah, okay, so there we are. Yeah, we're just a few points behind our friend Midnight. But I want to show you an example. So you go and you click on your score. When you click on your score, it takes you over to this page where it shows all your verification stuff. So like you got to mark to 3D Mark link, so it'll take you to 3D Mark's website. You can scroll around and look at some of the settings that you're using. And then if you go back, then you've got the screenshot that you took, and you'll see my screenshot that we made earlier that has all three of the CPU Z tabs, has the 3D Mark window in it, and then a couple of the GPU Z tabs, and then the Windows taskbar at the bottom. So I can show you an example of a submission that is incorrect. Then when you go in to look at their submission and you pull up the screenshot that they took, there's no Windows taskbar, there's no CPU Z or GPU Z. They're blocking off some of the results window and everything. And they do have a 3D Mark link over here that shows what they did. But this over here, Firestrike Ultra, you can click on the link here at the top for Firestrike Ultra, and then it takes us over to this page, and then you're able to look here at the rules. And this is for every benchmark, not just Firestrike Ultra. This is for all of them, so it tells you basically what you need to do for version. There's no Windows operating systems limitations. There are, you need a verification link and the screenshot, so then it tells you what the screenshot contains. It's the benchmark window with the score visible. And then you need a CPU Z tab for CPU and memory. And then the version has to be 1.94 or more. This changes also sometimes. So a lot of times if you're using an older version of CPU Z or GPU Z, you need to update that before you start doing any benchmarks. So you kind of want to come in here and check before you get started, because it's part of the rules, and it stinks when it happens when you're like on a older version of CPU Z and you got to go back and resubmit your stuff. But it's just part of how it is. And then GPU Z tab for GPU. So we can see, and then the Windows taskbar must be visible as well. No screenshot clipping or cropping. It's just basically a way to make sure that everything is fair. And as we saw on that other submission from this person here that was in second place, they don't have, there's a lot of it missing. This is their screenshot, and so basically they only have the score visible. So it's obviously not correct. So what you do is go to report submission over here. They need more proof, and then you type in, I already have reported this one, but you type in items are missing from the screenshot, like CPU Z, GPU Z, and all that. Anyway, so there's just a little rundown of HWBOT and how you submit some of your scores for the benchmarks that you've been doing.